What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Oh, we are live. There you go. Welcome back.
That's how it
I
works.
wanted to, I wanted to click on what was it? Welcome back to the rundown, episode 15,672. We are
Nice.
here. If you don't know already, we like to do a breakdown on TV, film, and all things in between, where we go through and just talk about the things we love, things we don't love. Anthony's usually the villain. I'm the hero. That's kind
Usually.
of how it works. Usually, we're also Jacket Bros. If you haven't been here before, welcome here, everybody. We are going to talk about Marvel Phase 2 today. A really good phase, one of the best phases, I think. And I think me and Anthony are going to have a few fights today
Probably.
about
Probably.
what films we think are going to be deserving of a talk. But Anthony, how are you, my friend? Another fantastic intro by me. Pat me up.
Another one.
Let's go.
Another one. Yet another one. Yeah. I'm doing well, man. I had a good week. Had some things drop in. I had the Homelander figure come in. That was a cool figure, though.
Ooh,
I don't think I can reach it, but it had like 5 head sculpts, so that's pretty cool.
damn.
And
It's
I
cool.
dropped a video, I think, the Kenshin one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got some stuff in, so that was cool.
That
Oh, and
is awesome.
I got the starfish in. Wait, I can show you
Starfish.
starfish. And somehow
Was
I
that
got
King Shark?
two Boba Fett's in. I don't know why. Things happen.
Oh my God.
Look,
You are a bloody madman. Oh, damn. Look at
it's cool,
that.
right? And it's
That
USB
is cool.
powered, so you can just charge it up with
Damn.
USB-C, and then unplug it again. So that's pretty
Now
cool.
you just need to get your Mark 85 USB powered up. There's a guy that does that.
Yeah, no, I don't need that. I don't need to do that. But
You should do it.
and I watched a bit of Phase 2, but to be honest, I also watched Phase 3 because I think 2 and 3 are my favorite phases.
Yeah, they are very good. Just reminiscing how much I love those films, going back and watching them. I didn't
Yeah.
get to watch all of them, but I've seen them that many times that I'm like, okay, I still remember the points that I wanted to talk about. And I actually noticed
Yeah.
a few things that I didn't notice before this time around. So I'm excited to share, if I can remember them, because we all know
Oh
how my
yeah,
memory
and
goes.
yeah, Iron Dory will strike again. And I even liked the Dark World a lot more than I did before seeing Endgame and Infinity War. So that was cool.
Yeah, they did a fantastic way of bringing that back into Endgame, making it way more relevant than
Yeah, and it
people
was
thought.
also
I remember at the time I got a lot of flack.
and it was the
Oh,
first movie that they talked about the Infinity Stones that
hmm
long and the creation of the
yeah,
MCU universe. So that was cool.
y-
Oh, power is off in
yes,
5 minutes
and
to save energy. Oh wait, that's not good.
oh Jesus, Anthony, living on the edge. This is gonna be a quick one,
That's not
guys.
good, is it? Oh yeah, and I'm on call, so I might be calling.
Yeah, fantastic. You got to leave us in the trenches just like that. He brings this monstrosity of a pose along, and then he's going to dip out, drops his figures on us, enables me just a little bit more, and then drops out.
Just a little bit.
You're a bad
Just a
man.
little bit.
You're a bad
You
man.
need to have an Iron Legion,
Well,
dude.
you do need to have an Iron Legion. You
You
are
do.
right. Well, I do actually. I do have an Iron Legion. Funny you say that, Anthony. My Facebook group,
Oh,
our channel members, the
cool
Iron
segue.
Legion, and we have a few of them in here today. That is a fantastic segue. We did not set that up. We are not that professional. Uh, let's address the chat. Let's see who's here. We got AJ Agrusa, a channel member, part
Yo,
of the Iron Legion. Hello, friends. Hope everybody is doing well. AJ, thanks for being here, brother.
thanks,
You are the
man.
man. Loving your poses, your pictures of the Darth Vader. Is that
Oh yeah,
sideshow?
that was cool.
A sideshow statue, I think. Isn't it?
Oh,
Often
Spanner guy.
Studios.
Spanner guy.
Spanner guys here. Often I've missed you, my friend. Where were you last week? We missed you on Avatar. I understand you hadn't seen it, but you know you're on the payroll now. So I expect you to be here.
Yeah.
Just
Need to
joking.
cope with spoilers.
Yeah. We got Butch in the house, or should I say Loki in the house. What up, everyone? Another channel member there. Thank you,
Yeah.
Butch. You are the man. Thanks for being here,
So
brother. Part of
awesome.
the Iron Legion. Round 2, fight. Let's go. We are going to fight.
Two.
You should. That's a career. You should
It
give up
is, it
everything
is.
you do and become a voiceover
I
artist.
should do that.
I want you. Just contact whoever it is that makes the Mortal Kombat games and go, look, you don't need to waste money on effects.
Yeah, I can just call him. I do an awesome get over here. So hire me, please.
You need to put that on your Instagram bio.
Yeah.
I can do an awesome.
Does it get over there? Professional get over here. Her.
And Joseph Dufresne, what's going on, mate? Quick question for you. How do y'all like the Mark 47 figure?
It's cool.
Well, it's cool.
If
Yes,
you like
for me,
the color scheme.
yes, which I do. It's awesome. It's just like the 46 and the 46 concept, obviously, but it has more bang for buck with accessories than the 46 concept, and still a bit more even than the 46, the original 46, that is.
No, I don't think so. But it does come with this head sculpt, I think, right? And the glasses.
47, yes, with the glasses, yes. Damn, how did you have that on hand that quickly? Holy moly.
I just needed space. I just needed space, so he's on here.
Okay, fair play. But yes, Joseph, it's awesome. Look, we're probably the wrong people to ask if you're trying to make a decision, because we'd be like, just get all of them. They're all awesome.
Yeah, go like Ash Ketchum. Gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
Because Ash
Thanks
is
for that,
on
85.
pension, so we need to step up.
We do need to step up. I think apparently you're sending often the 85 starfish. That's awesome. Such a nice guy.
Yeah, I think Oven is thinking that I'm sending it to him.
Butch wants to see your collection tour Anthony, right now.
Yeah, this is it. This is my collection.
Yeah.
So
Well, see, Anthony's building a toy store, so you've just got to wait for that, Butch. He may have to pull a superhero vanish on us. He may do.
I
And
might
if he
need
does,
to.
I'm going to fight him. I'm going to fight him.
need to.
I've already put a call into the government over there. If we could have nobody cause any problems for the next hour and a half, that'd be fantastic. AJ says, yes, that's the Sideshow Mythos Vader. I've got the whole line. Wow. But that one is pushing
cool
to be
figure.
my favorite. That is cool.
It's cool.
That is cool. Butch says, where is Loki? Well, Butch, Loki is just here. You can't see him, but he's in the final pose of the showcase. So I filmed everything. I just need to write my voiceover, and then do the voiceover. And I should have the video out by Wednesday, hopefully, if all goes well, which would be your guys' Tuesday. I'm pretty sure. But you agreed to release the Anthony Room tour. I agree as well. I want to see an Anthony Room tour.
Yeah, John. We're still waiting on the TikTok tour cuts, so maybe that first.
Okay, look, I will do a TikTok twerk cut when you do a room tour. How's that? Boom.
I don't have a room to tour, but I will tell you something. What I'm trying to do is, when I had the micro room tour, it's like a weird shelf with a jazzing diorama on top of it, and
Yes.
it's a very awkward space. And I'm trying to reorganize everything there, so I'm taking away figures that were on there, and I think I might do a Star Wars scene there, and then I'll film it again. So it's a micro room tour then again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Look, at least it's a taste. Give us a
It's a
taste.
taste,
We're all
it's a
addicts.
taste.
We just want a taste. Well, without further ado, guys, I guess we should start getting into it, because there's a lot of fighting to be had. I don't know where that came from. That just popped out of there. It's just.
It happens.
I
happens.
shouldn't be. I shouldn't be allowed to have that.
Jump
Shouldn't be
scare.
allowed to have that.
Yeah.
But look, let's with all seriousness. Phase 2. Looking back, what an awesome phase. Now, I haven't added the TV shows or the shorts or the those little bits which are included in it, but I thought for the sake of time and overall importance, would just go with the films.
Yeah.
Would you agree, or do you want to touch on Captain Carter and All Hail the King and the shorts
Yeah,
like that?
to be honest, I just want to touch on Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron. And I'll be fine then.
And Age of Ultron. See, look, this is why we're going to fight, guys. Anthony, in the chat, please let me know. Anthony thinks we don't need to talk about Thor: The Dark World. Captain America, Winter Soldier, might I remind you, Guardians of the Galaxy, or Ant-Man.
Yeah, they're
I
cool
don't know.
movies, but I think Iron Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, they set up Phase 3 the best. Ant-Man kind of sets up the Quantum Realm. So, but I'm
Yes.
just interested in
Thor
Iron
sets
Man
up
3 and
the
Age of
Infinity
Ultron.
Stones. Thor sets up the Infinity Stones.
It
Guardians
does,
of the
it does.
Galaxy sets up Gamora, and that's one of the most emotional scenes throughout
Gamora
Endgame and Infinity.
Shmamora.
Where's my Gamora? And Captain America: Winter Soldier is arguably one of the best MCU films of all time.
It's a cool movie.
How
It's
dare
a cool
you
movie.
not? How dare you not? It's
It's a
also
cool
the
movie.
turn of Cap becoming. This is the turn. This is the turn where Cap becomes more like Tony, and Tony becomes more like Cap. From Iron Man 3 and Winter Soldier.
Do you think he becomes more like
Correct me?
Tony?
Well, more maybe not like Tony in that sense, but more of a like against the government, I guess, would be a more correct
Yeah,
word.
but the
Whereas
greater
Tony's
arc is in Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron.
yeah. Okay,
But,
this is where we're going to fight, guys.
Let's
This
let's
is
get started.
the-
Round 1.
round one. Well, let's kick it off with actually before we kick into it, people in the chat, why don't you put in here your favorite film of Phase 2? If you had to pick a favorite film of Phase 2,
Damn.
Anthony, which one would you pick? That's a tough one for me.
Look, it's
That's
a
actually a tough
tough one because there are 3 that stand out for me.
Yeah.
I'm not counting Ant-Man. That would be the funniest. But Winter Soldier would be the most badass movie of Phase 2. Guardians of the Galaxy was the most sparkly, fun, and badass movie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The most renewing movie. And Age of Ultron, I just love Age of Ultron because I love all assembled Avengers
Yeah.
movies. So if I'd had to pick one, I think it would be Age of Ultron because it sets up Phase 3 the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. If I had to pick one, but I just
That's a
really
good
like
pick.
these movies. I think of Phase 2, I only didn't like Thor: The Dark World first time around, but that movie gets better if you've seen all the phases now. For me, it
Which
does.
one?
The Dark World.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I used to not really like it, but now I kind of like it now.
See, I've asked this question and I don't even know how to answer it. I'm just looking at the chats real quick because it often's like release the non-quantum realm Rutor, which I think is a great hashtag.
Quadzai.
And often also says hashtag don't diss Gamora at the box office 1 and 2 queen. She is, man. She's beast. She is a beast. Age of Ultron is my favorite. Okay, so he's in there with Age of Ultron. AJ says, I think Winter Soldier, but my unpopular opinion would be Iron Man 3. Damn.
I don't know why Iron Man 3 doesn't get as much love as it does.
I know, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's awesome. This is where he has so many Tony, like he's very awesome at, no, how am I explaining it? His persona of Tony and Iron Man 3 is more so. And I love that he has to do more without the suit. And I love how the suit interacts with him and, all that.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
And Pepper. And not just,
And House Party Protocol.
yeah, come on. And that's a good, anyway, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Captain America Winter Soldier says Butch. Of course, I knew
It's
Butch
a
would
cool
say
movie.
that. If I had to pick, it would probably be, though, if I'm going to go best film out of these, it'd be a toss-up between Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron for me, followed closely by Iron Man. Damn, that's a tough one. Probably
it's a
Age of
tough
Ultron
one.
because it's got everybody, and I do love the Avengers movies. I watch them regularly.
Yeah.
But Captain America Winter Soldier really sticks in my mind from when I first watched it in the film, and every time I watch it, the fight scene with Bucky with the knife, that whole sequence. Oh, damn.
It's cool.
I just love
It's
it.
cool.
I just love it. And the elevator scene. Oh, come on.
But we didn't get any
Come on,
mutants in Winter Soldier. We got mutants in Age of Ultron, so that's a plus.
We did. All right, well, let's get to it. Iron Man 3. Let's go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Boom.
Often
I'm gonna
says
do this.
Hulkbuster fight. Sleep, 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 sleep.
That's true. That is true.
cool.
Damn, Age of Ultron is classic. AJ says, I love how we see the real human side of a hero in Iron Man
Yeah,
3 and we see his struggles. It's very relatable. Damn straight.
yeah.
Damn straight, AJ.
Tony's arc is the most important arc, arguably, of all the arcs in the MCU, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just all of this and everything from this film also carries into, obviously, I always just think back to his moment with his dad in Endgame and how awesome that was. Just when you learn more about Tony, we just think when you think about it, we learn so much about Tony and his
Hmm.
life from Iron Man 1 all the way through in all the films he's in
Yeah,
until now.
yeah,
And even still, his legacy. I love how his legacy still pops up in these new films. Like it's going to pop up in Armor Wars. It's relative to all these different things. I love that they do that. I'm on the side of more of that, not less of that,
yeah.
like some people do. But this film, it's hilarious. Look, we get Trevor in this film. We get Trevor, guys. Need I remind you how awesome Trevor is? We get more Happy. I love Happy as a character. I love Pepper as a character. I love all of them in this. What's often saying? Tony gave out his address and didn't have basic security. It's because he's a gangster. And then he threw the phone away.
Yeah. And he's impulsive. And he's cocky.
Yeah, that's what I love about Tony. I love his jokes. I love how he was ruthless with the little boy who then shows up. I loved that they brought him back for the funeral. That was
Yeah.
epic.
Well, it's not. It was ruthless and the most loving that we've seen him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It gives him the anti-bully deterrent. Let's get
Yeah.
another picture here because I love
He was
this
like the
picture.
first Spider-Man or the first Peter Parker.
Yeah, it was his training to take
Yeah.
someone under his wing.
Yeah.
And I love how he realizes that his arc in this movie. So I want to hear you talk about this because I've been waiting to hear what your thoughts are. But I loved his journey of realizing that he is Iron Man without the suits, and I love all the tinkering scenes. The stuff I love about the Iron Man movies is him in the workshop tinkering, building things. That whole journey that he goes on working with these suits because akin. I'm going to push it back to me because I'm a narcissist. It reminds me of when I'm tinkering away with my figures and making videos. And like that's my little me, Tony Starking, we're in the workshop creating things. Anyway,
Yeah. So boys love the toys, but like I said, I think Tony Stark's arc is the most important in the MCU, and this is the part where he is really shook up by Avengers 1. So the attack of New York with the aliens coming, the Chitauri. And he's saying, oh shit. So this is happening now. And he still wants to build a giant armor or shield around the world to protect the world versus invaders. And so that's his mission, kind of. But also he's in a relationship with Pepper, and Pepper doesn't like it. And they emphasize it even more with Pepper being attacked by one of the sentries. So he is in a struggle because he wants to protect the world versus the aliens. But also, he's just... They're not married, right? But he's
They're
still
more
in a
serious.
relationship now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wants to be in a regular relationship, but he also wants to save the world. So that's a problem. So he tinkers and he tinkers and he tinkers, and then he has the army. And at the end of Iron Man 3, he is he's going to the nanotech, right? So he has the shrapnel removed,
Yep.
and he doesn't need the arc reactor in his chest anymore to survive. But he still wears it, as we can
Yeah.
see
Oh.
in Infinity War.
Well, with what I wanted to say with that is in this, when she comes home and she's like, "Oh, what mark is that? Like Mark 7 or something, or Mark 8 or 9?" And he looks and it's 42. It shows you that just something simple as that shows you that he's keeping maybe not necessarily secrets, but she's not aware of how obsessed he's become at constantly creating new suits and just working, keeping his
Yeah,
mind busy.
true.
It seems like.
True. He's kind of like us, though. With Which, with the how many figure this week is it? It's the second.
Yeah.
Well, in
Yeah,
actuality, it's the 42nd coming in that week. And but she does know because she says, "Let me kiss you. Open up, and let me kiss you." And she already knows that
Yeah.
he's doing something else.
Yeah,
Tinkering.
yeah. Oh man, it's just this is one of those feel good movies, and AJ was right. Like, actually, it was you and AJ. Like, thinking about this movie, rewatching it again, I was so freaking hyped. Like, there's so much that goes on that I don't understand why it cops the hate of so many people of not being, one of the best Marvel films, because it gives us his struggle, his journey, the aftermath. And you think about it, after Avengers 1, he's the only one really panicking about what just happened. Everyone
Yeah.
else is like so chill about it. Oh yeah, like
Which is weird,
even
right?
yeah,
Even
right. Rose
Hawkeye.
just like
Hawkeye should be scared shitless. The guy with just a bow. And he's the only one who feels like he needs to save the world.
yeah, and it leads into Ultron perfectly. Like, I mean, you're right in that sense that it leads straight into what he's thinking about when we get into Avengers of Age of Ultron. Also makes me think it hasn't been that long since Iron Man 3 before Avengers Age of Ultron, because he's got Mark 42 in Iron Man 3
Yeah,
and then he's
yeah,
got Mark 43 in Ultron.
yeah.
Unless they're assuming that he's just used that suit for a long time, because in that they allude to him, them doing a lot of missions together. I'll just quickly run back because we've got Andre in the house. Long comment guy is back
Hello,
on
common
his
guy.
bike, riding into the comments like a champion. Then we got William Owens in the house. What's going on, Cap?
Hey,
He's got
welcome back.
Got the cat.
That's
Welcome
leave.
back,
Don't need to be
William.
pussy about it. That's often.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's... Sorry, often I missed that one. That is hilarious. What does he say? Also, I love things that Tony would say, like, "I'm still waiting on that sandwich." Like, he asks him for a sandwich, and then
Yeah,
they
and I
start
love
talking, and then
when Pepper comes home. There's some scene with a non-manned Iron Man Sentinel, and Pepper and Tony are talking, and all of a sudden the Sentinel looks at one of both. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So cool.
Oh man, it's so funny. And it's such a great film. And then the twist, like, because I wasn't hard up, I separate the comics and all that stuff from the film.
Yeah,
That stuff
yeah.
doesn't bother me. I thought the twist was hilarious, and it's so funny to see Trevor still in the MCU, and I'm sure he'll still pop up in Shang-Chi again somehow.
Mhm.
I can see him popping up in Shang-Chi 2, I would imagine, would be the next time we see a Trevor.
Yeah.
I hope so anyway, because he's just hilarious.
Yeah,
And
and
we got Roger. Oh, sorry,
Oh.
Roger. That was because the dream he had. Yeah, exactly.
the
And welcome.
dream, but the dream is that Age of Ultron or Iron Man 3? It's both, right?
No, the dream.
the dream,
He
but
has
the dream is like the flashback of the Chitauri, right?
yeah.
And the dream of
Age
everyone
Ultron's the vision.
dying is Age of Ultron, right? Yeah, okay. So, but what I also like is, it's kind of a turning point, or it signifies a turning point in his arc, because at first he's just showboating. Well, he's surviving at first, but he's still a narcissist and showboating and being like famous. He's not really trying to be a hero, or he's trying to be a hero on a smaller scale, and he's trying to be famous. But this is where he actually wants to protect the world.
Yeah.
And afterwards, in Endgame, of course, we see the sacrifice play, like Steve mentioned. But so this is like a harder turn.
Never the guy to make the sacrifice play. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so poetic how it ends
Yeah,
up
it
going
is,
that way,
it
though.
is.
It's so poetic. I got one last picture from there of just Pepper holding the suit, because I thought that was a good picture. One, because she steps up more in this movie, and
She
I
was
love that
badass.
she kicked ass. She
Yeah.
was badass.
Yeah.
I love that she kicked ass at the end, and I just think Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr.'s chemistry together is off the
It's
charts.
awesome, right? Yeah.
It's so off the charts, and things like that make films for me. You get films, they feel like comfort to you when you're having a bad day, or you're feeling down, or whatever it may be. You just want to go to your happy place. The Iron Man films are like that for me. I love going back to them, or any of the Avengers films, to be honest.
Yeah. And I
Marvel
think
films.
Gwyneth Paltrow only decided to do the movies because Robert Downey Jr. was in it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And look, she didn't even know what film she'd done there at one stage with the Iron Man film. She was
Was I
like,
in
which one's that
Spider-Man?
one? Which
I
one's
wasn't
that?
Spider-Man.
I
It makes
kind of love
sense
that.
though. It makes sense
Yeah.
though because it was such a short
Yeah.
mid-credit or end-credit scene or
Yeah,
ending.
and they're so secretive. And to be
Yeah.
fair, to give her props, it's so secretive. They don't know what they're doing half the time.
Yeah, and everything is shot through each other, right?
Yeah, that's right. AJ says people got just get mad about the Mandarin thing. I was going to say Mandarin thing, but with the retcon, it's not bad.
Yeah,
It's not
I
so bad
liked it.
with them
I like,
stealing his name.
but
Yeah.
it's you and me both. We don't care too much about
Don't
clinging
care.
to the commons because MCU is just a separate entity that way.
Yeah,
And I like Trevor. What's the not
and
to like
Trevor's
about
awesome.
Trevor? Yeah,
Yeah, Trevor's
Trevor's
awesome.
sluttery.
And that's not to mention the Australian champion, Guy Pearce, as the villain in Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
Anytime an Australian's in something, I like to show him some love. I quite like him as an actor too, actually.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
liked
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of his stuff. He's a good actor. He's a really good actor. And seems like a really down-to-earth guy too. So it would have been a great opportunity for him to be in this film.
Yeah.
But I loved his journey. I love that Tony, the way he treated him in the past, someone that's just a throwaway to him at that time.
Yeah.
That really showed Tony's arrogance, which I thought was hilarious because I love Tony's arrogance and his wit and his charm. It's those things that made his character so, I guess, I don't even know the word. Why I'm drawn to his character and why he's my favorite character.
Well,
so
he's
much is his
charismatic
wit
and he's
his
witty
charm.
and he's
Yeah.
smart, and we love seeing people who are on top of their game. But in this movie also he realizes the consequences of his action. That he made Killian.
Yeah. Yeah, consequences. So this film deals with a lot. It deals with consequences. It deals with the aftermath of Avengers. It's his journey to realize that he is Iron Man without the suit, and I love how that happens. How it gets to that point. How
Yeah.
he's got to become he's the mechanic. Yeah, he has to work with it. And I have to tell you, I actually have the quarter scale coming in. I had buyer's remorse, but I did it. I couldn't help myself. The 42 is coming in. You made me rewatch this film, and that.
Oh, now it's my
I'm
fault.
sitting there.
So
And if you
now
were
you go
gonna
to
do it,
Lani.
you're gonna
Yeah, it was Anthony's fault. I couldn't do anything about it.
tell her for
It was his
everything.
fault.
I told her that with the Apex Infinity, Chaos Infinity, it's your fault with everything, pretty much.
Everything.
The throne.
Yeah, so this deals with consequences.
Yeah, this deals with consequences, and the consequence was that I needed to have a representation of Iron Man 3 in the collection. And that's what happened. But
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
AJ, you are correct, sir. Who cares? Look, there's always going to be people whinging. This exact word wasn't exactly how it was written 10 years ago. Who cares? It's a different thing.
Yeah.
You've got the comics, you've got the films. You get two different mediums with two different stories to enjoy. I do want to touch on that Shane Black was the director of this as well. And he did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr., which is one of my favorite films.
Cool.
If you haven't seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I'm putting this on your guys' movie list. That is an absolute must-watch if you have not seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Val Kilmer, Robert Downey Jr., action, mystery, comedy. Hilarious. Have you seen it, Anthony?
Yeah, but it was a
This
long
is
time
pretty-
ago.
Oh, go rewatch.
I think
bro.
I
And
watched it on DVD or something.
yeah, it's one of my favorites. And so this was a re-team up of them because that was one of the first films I think he did after coming back to acting after all his troubles, personal troubles, and just to see, like, that's another thing I think I love about Robert Downey Jr. is the change in his life that he made and how he used that to propel him into this character, and how awesome Jon Favreau was to foresee the talent in RDJ to give him the chance to do this, man. Damn. Like, anyway, let's catch up on the chats before we move on to Thor Dark World. He knew what was coming, says Roger. He realizes he can't do it alone. Yep, he did realize that in the film. There was a Jonathan Ross interview from 2008 where she says that. Yeah, okay. I wasn't a fan of the Mandarin twist, but Iron Man 3 is still very enjoyable. Okay. Anthony the villain strikes again. Well, he is a villain. That's what they do. Kiss, bang, bang.
Screen
scheme,
another
and all that.
movie.
That would be a great movie. A love affair
Don't
across
break.
the galaxy.
Brokeback Mountain.
And The Nice Guys is also perfect. Yes, Gosling and Crow. Yes, good point.
I don't think
Offen.
I've seen that
That's
one.
another one. That's
don't think I've
Shane
seen
Black
that one.
again. I like Shane Black films. I like
Hmm.
his direction. I like his comedy. Do you know Shane Black was an actor in Predator, the original Predator?
Oh, cool.
He's a guy that
Cool.
gets, I think, blasted. He gets blasted somehow. Or he gets killed either way at the start.
Yeah, it's blasted,
But yeah.
mortal, or flayed, whichever.
Yeah, one of those. He gets
Yeah.
killed. But yeah, I love his films. Iron Man 3, I thought was a great. Going back again, I enjoyed it even more. Just more so for Tony, Happy, Pepper, their journey, their story. Phenomenal. Is there anything you wanted to touch on before we move on to Thor Dark World? More about Tony's arc before we go?
No, except the fact that after Iron Man 3, he really wasn't. It wasn't necessary to have the arc reactor in his chest anymore. But, he couldn't let go.
He couldn't let go because he has it in Ultron.
Yeah.
And he's not nanotech in Ultron yet.
True.
He's
true.
still the suit, and then he's even still the suit in Civil War, which is 46. So he goes from
That's true,
43 to
true.
46, and not too far after. All right, Iron Man 3, one of the great ones. Moving on to Thor: Dark World.
2013. Look at that, man. 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
10 years ago. Can you believe it?
It still
that's
holds up.
probably the American date, so that would have been 8th of November,
Yeah,
2013.
I think so.
That's a great poster too. When I saw this,
Yeah,
I'm like,
well,
damn, that's a good poster, bro. Like, that's
Yeah.
actually a really good poster. This is back when that guy who was directing Game of Thrones got the gig to direct Thor Dark World. I can't quite remember his name off the top of my head. He was a Game of Thrones director.
Cool.
I do know that. Going back again, another film that I really enjoyed going back. I loved the moments with him where he kills a Korg. He kills a Korg at the start. Don't forget.
Yeah.
And then I love his relationship with Loki builds up in that.
Mhm.
I love taking it to Asgard. I actually loved a lot of this film. The end sequence isn't as good as it could have been, would be my opinion. But there you go. Alan Taylor was the director. Thank you, Offen.
Banner
the
guy.
man. Spanner guy strikes again. That's better. You're earning your way back into my good graces after not being here.
Yeah.
AJ.
Yeah. So and it's
God,
I think it's the first movie where they explain the beginning of the MCU with the Dark Elves, the stones, but here they use it to explain about the ether, which is the reality stone, and they say, which makes sense, right? Because the reality stone, and it can change its form, as the reality stone does. So it's not a stone, but they're saying the rest of them are stones, and they show the Infinity Stone. So that's pretty cool when you watch it back. I don't think I picked up on the rest of the stones at all when I watched it in 2013.
No, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I can't remember if I didn't rewatch this one again because I watched it not long ago. I can't remember if there was an end credit scene about the stones or Thanos.
No,
or
it's
anything
just
like that.
if
anyone can chime in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we've
can't
seen
remember.
a couple, right? With the other guy doing Thanos,
Sludge.
the black guy, Angry Sludge,
Angry Sludge. Now,
red
Did you
Angry
see the-
Sludge. Yeah.
Now, only channel members would know this, but I shared a post in the Facebook group about the dark fan theory that could it be possible that when the ether went into Jane, that is what gave her cancer? Because I think that's very plausible. They've never explained that. I thought that would have been really cool if they explained that in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
how
but
she got
people get cancer without the ether, though, so it's not really necessary, is it?
I guess, but it would have just been I feel like another cool little tie-in, like, you have a lot of radiation in you, and then she
Yeah,
could have
could
been
be,
like,
could be.
it's because I had the ether in me. I felt like that would have been a really cool just another tie-in to link things together more. You know, because the ether got into her, this is how she got sick, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Anybody else
it
with
could
me on
make
that? Let me know.
it could make sense because if you know about the Infinity Stones, after watching everything, it's kind of weird that that she could contain the ether in her body, right? Because the Infinity Stones are a bit too strong for one human to contain, and yet
Yeah,
she can contain the ether in the body. I don't think that was properly explained, to be honest. I would much rather having
yeah,
that explained than it being too much for her and her getting cancer because of it. I feel that would be like a smaller explanation than the fact that she could even carry the ether.
true. Well, did she get sick again? I can't remember. Did she get sick?
Well, she got
Because of
sick
it when
because
she.
of the ether,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
Thor brought her to Odin and
that's
to
right.
like his medical team to get examined.
That's right. I thought Thor looked on point in this film too. He looked good in this
Yeah,
film.
he did.
Yeah, I thought he
I
looked the
like the
part really
look with
well.
the broad cape, the
Yeah,
shoulder
yeah, yeah,
guards.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. What's AJ saying? Often also said that it was the end credit was the kiss with Jane.
Okay.
Fair enough. AJ says there are parts of this I really like, especially a lot of the interactions between Thor and Loki, but the way they handled Malekith was
Malekith.
questionable. Yeah. So the end didn't go quite as well as I thought it could have, but
Yeah.
there's still, like you said, AJ, lots of parts of this film that I still enjoyed. More so the first half of the film, first 3 quarters of the film. And
I
let's
would
not
have.
forget who was
Yeah.
in
What?
this film,
Walid
Selvig.
and
Come
Selvig.
on,
Yeah.
and Selvig. Come on. Oh, and well, no one can, not even Thor could jump through a window like that. Come on.
True.
Go to another shot. I just got another shot because I thought that cape in this film was, like you said,
Cool,
was
right?
sick.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's what I don't like about the Infinity War Thor figure, because the inside is black and the outside is red, and I like the red.
Yeah, I like it.
Skarsgård. It's good that S-Beam is not here, because he would have hashtag Skarsgård for life.
You would have. You would have. Oh, wait, I'm missing something. And the big monster chasing a bird or something.
What?
And the big monster chasing a bird or something. What was that with?
I don't know again.
Oh, it was the end credit scene. End credit
Big
scene.
monster chasing a bird?
Yeah. That was left in England at the end because all the things were coming through the portals.
Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you. Often, Banner did say stones emit gamma. That's right,
Yeah.
he did. I mean, we're solving mysteries here, guys. So plausible, so plausible. I've got one more.
Moon Knight level problem solving.
I really loved the moments these guys had together. I actually quite liked their chemistry together too. I thought the chemistry together was good. I thought more so better in number one, the first Thor. I
I
really
like
liked their
one
relationship.
more than two. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like one. I like the journey of one more. I love the start of two and the potential, and then losing the mother. The music that they play at the funeral with the mother was that, that's that like choir singing that always that gets the heartstrings flowing. And we all know my
Yeah, that's
heartstrings
you.
like to
That's you.
squeak and
You're so
the tears
easy.
like to flow. You got to let the tears flow, Anthony. Just let it
Dude,
flow.
I bet when you eat an egg, you crack the shell, your tears get flowing already. It doesn't take a lot. But
Yeah.
I would have loved to see more of Frigga.
Yeah.
Because if we had seen more of Frigga, maybe it would have explained how Loki was able to trick the Allfather in Ragnarok. Because it's a bit weird for me that Loki could trick Odin and put a spell on him and put him into an old halfway home on Earth. But maybe if we'd seen more of Frigga, because he was like the best student Frigga had or something. He had her tricks, right? Her magic.
Yeah.
So if we could have seen what her powers worked like, and that she could also do it, it would have made a bit more sense for me.
Here's the thing that I thought was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
This film, again, not only did it come back to play in Endgame, but it also came back to play in Loki's show. Because I just rewatched Loki's show not long ago because I'm
Yeah.
in Loki mode. And I love that when he sees again that he caused his mother's death. Like, that's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. That's absolutely heartbreaking that he can look back on that and see that. I love that. And I'm wondering, will she show up? Is there a potential? Let's put it out there to the chat. Is there a potential that Frigga could turn up in season 2 of Loki? Because they're going through time, they're going through all
Anything
these
is
different things. They're
possible.
going,
Everything's
right?
possible. I don't think they will, though. I don't think it serves any purpose in the story.
could it be a flashback to more, maybe her teaching him magic? Could we go back in? I would love
I
to
don't
see him
think
go
so.
back, and that would have been cool,
It
though.
would be very cool, but I don't see them do it, though.
And it's interesting thinking about it now. You get to see both Thor and Loki have a close relationship with Frigga,
Yeah.
right? Like they did a good job in the small amount of screen time she had. Now, props to Rene Russo because I was a big fan of her from the Lethal Weapon days. I loved her in the Lethal Weapon movies. I love those Lethal Weapon movies. Yeah, but to see her as Frigga was awesome. And often also makes a good point here. Wish Kenneth Branagh came back. I hope they bring Kenneth Branagh back to do the next Thor, the last Thor, which might be the last Thor if they do another Thor. That'd be cool. Bring Kenneth back because he's a freaking good director as well.
Yeah.
A Heartless Anthony. Hashtag Heartless Anthony. That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt. AJ says this movie was really tied into a ton. It's like a central point of a lot of other things from here. It is, yeah, which is really cool how they weren't scared to bring it back into Endgame and all that stuff after its performance. Hope Loki gets Thor in Endgame moment with Friggs. Yeah, see, that would be cool if they went back in the Loki
cool.
show, or he could introduce Sylvie to her. How cool would that be?
That would be cool.
Introduce Sylvie to his mum.
Yo, Leighton.
What's up, Leighton? Thanks for getting here, brother. Let's move on to Captain America, Winter Soldier. Well, I think that deserves
In a world.
in a world where Captain America. Sorry, I need to get Cap jumping out of the elevator. What's Butch saying? Butch says, if it'll open up for me. Open. Frida taught. Oh, is it Frida? I'm calling it Frigga.
Frigga.
Frida taught Loki how to use magic, right? Was it witchcraft? It's a bit of witchcraft, I guess.
I think it's magic.
Worst MCU film. Wow. Wait, are you talking about Captain America Winter Soldier? Okay, obviously joking.
Offen's villain arc, yeah.
Damn, now he's a villain. Now I've got to deal with two villains. I've got a stone cold, heartless villain who won't cry at a heart bloody pounding, inducing, tearing scene. And then I've got now Offen joining you. Came in at the right time. Boom, Leighton's here. Captain America, Winter Soldier. Okay, Anthony didn't think we needed to talk about this film that much, but I am here to argue the point that we do. Back me up, guys, in the chat. Join the team. Captain America Winter Soldier is, to me, still, I need to rethink my list, but for a long time has been in the top 5 of my favorite MCU films. Who's with me? Think about it. Captain America Winter Soldier.
It's a cool movie, but it doesn't do a lot for the arc, does it? It's a very cool movie, but it doesn't do a lot for the arc.
Captain America Winter Soldier is a top 5 MCU movie. DS from my other channel.
It's DS.
DS. What's DS?
He's just flexing his channel.
Wait, it's DS.
Oh man!
Is this DS?
It's Slow Dory. It's Slow Dory.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
Unbox him up. Look. Oh, S-Beam's back. Boom.
Hey.
What's going on?
Welcome
Number
back.
2. Oh, shit. Number 2 MCU movie. What? Of all time for you? Woo!
I couldn't make a top 5, to be honest.
Top 5s are tough.
Yeah.
Butch is with me. Yeah, Butch. Butch has got my back. And it is DS. What's up, brother? Welcome back, mate. Good to see you, mate. We need to do another. We need to do another posing live stream. I've got an idea. Off topic. We do a show called A Bunch of Poses. We get all the poses together. We have chat. I think that's a great name. Watch someone steal it. Watch
Bunch
another
of
content creator come out and go, we're going to do a bunch of poses. But I think we should do a bunch of poses live stream. Let me know, DS. Let me know. I miss you. Let's hang out. Selvig, SB.
Yeah.
Well, we're kicking off
Selvig.
now.
One time for Lauren.
Look, I should have. I don't know why I didn't. I should have got a bloody picture
You should.
of
You
Selvig
should.
from this film. That's because I'm an idiot. That would have been perfect to bring
Without
it
his
there.
pants on.
Without his pants on, running around.
Oh yeah. Wait,
Thank you,
Thor.
SB.
I was thinking that's
Yes,
like
back to Thor.
yeah. Because Selvig is on the first incursion, right? So I was kind of thinking when I was looking back on this one, I was kind of thinking that her getting the ether inside her body isn't. It couldn't have
Careful
been
with
the
your words,
cause.
getting it
Yeah,
inside her body.
it couldn't have been the cause of the incursion, but the way that Selvig explained it, it's like the first incursion that we got in the MCU, right? But then,
Yes, it is. Actually.
why then?
Good point. Maybe they didn't know what they were doing. Oh, well, it's hard to say that with how they interweave things, but it could be.
Or maybe it's because of the space stone. I don't know.
The reality. Well, it is the reality stone. Let's keep in mind.
It is. But did something happen to the reality stone before Jane got it? Because weird things were happening before. So the incursion
Yeah.
was already happening.
In that warehouse, right, where things were floating
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah. True that.
And he calls
that.
it something else, but when I was watching, I think I apped you or messaged you. This is like the first incursion.
You did actually, yeah. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think that was one of the? Could that be explained as an incursion with the reality stone in Thor: Dark World? Good point, Anthony. Now back to Captain America: Winter Soldier, one of the top films. Here we go. Look, often is. Hang on, we'll address who's this. Minty Axel 1. Yeet, what's going on? Thanks for being here. Often says, my faves, not the best. Infinity War, Civil War, Ragnarok, Ultron, Far From Home.
Yeah, I could
Big
go with
list.
that. I could go with that. I miss Endgame though, but I could go with
Yeah,
this.
and No Way
I
Home.
could really go with
There's
this.
too many. There's too many.
There are too many. Yeah, and
too
because
many.
I really love what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy. I just love that.
Yeah.
So there's so many cool movies, man.
When we get onto each film, you start remembering the things that you loved from each film, and it makes it harder to decipher. But I can honestly say, when we talk about Captain America: Winter Soldier, this I think will always be, especially for me and Lani, because I always akin back to when we were in the cinema watching it for the first time, and I was really like, oh my god, like this film, like when Samuel L. Jackson's in the car and that whole car sequence, not to mention the freaking boat scene with him fighting an actual UFC fighter, which was epic. Do you know, actually, in that George
GSP.
St. Pierre, right? GSP, the stunt double for Cap, for Chris Evans, I'm losing his name, is the director of Chris Hemsworth's film on Netflix. Wow, the military one with heaps of action. What's it called?
I want to say Interception.
You know-
It's not Interception. It's
Yeah, it's not that. Often, where are you? We need you.
something with
What's
an E.
that Chris Evans film? And he's done a sequel.
with an E.
Extraction. Extraction. There we go.
Yeah.
Extraction. So the stunt double for Cap is the director of Extraction, and
That's
he's
cool,
an
dude.
Aussie too. Yeah. So
That's
there
cool.
you go. Another Australian. Sam Hargraves. There you go. Boom. So he was the one actually fighting
GSP.
GSP. I'm pretty sure.
Who's
I know who's his stunt
who's
double in a few
arguably
of them.
the best pound for pound UFC fighter ever?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe
He's also-
maybe Mighty Mouse. Maybe Mighty Mouse. Or John Jones. There could be an argument for that, but
Yeah.
I think GSP. Especially for the time.
GSP. Yeah, and GSP's cooler anyway.
Yeah.
He's so cool. But there's so many moments from this film. If I give you guys my take on it, so many moments from this film that for me that are so memorable, and I think it is a very important film for Cap's journey. Because whilst we talk about Tony's journey a lot, I think Cap's journey is just as well fleshed out as Iron Man's.
Eh.
We see
It's
You don't
fleshed
think
out,
so?
but it's fleshed out, but not as fleshed out as Iron Man's.
Maybe not. Well, look, let me make my points of why I think it is.
Okay,
Because he
cool.
starts off wanting to be of service, wanting to just do something right. When he's in Captain America, the first Avenger, he then becomes the hero. Foregoes his personal life, in a sense, to because he wants to be this hero and be of service. In this one, he finds out that there's corruption everywhere. This was like me realizing that all businesses do dodgy things, and there's so much corruption out there in the real world, in real life, with everything.
Damn,
And you
you're
can't
damn
just.
near Captain America.
I am. I could be Captain America if I lost some weight and I got shredded,
I could play the
and
oboe. Yeah.
yeah, I could be the bold Captain America. Okay, fantastic. I'm sure Lani would disagree with you. She's a big Chris Evans fan. But back to my point of him then learning in this film that Shield is no good. There's corruption everywhere. He becomes anti-government and more
Hmm.
trusting in himself, which I really like.
Yeah.
In Avengers, he was still that as well. But if you go back to the Avengers film before this, he learns that Nick Fury isn't above board, and that's when he goes and investigates, and he finds out that Nick Fury is lying and all those types of things. So that was parts of the journey of him.
Hmm.
There was sprinkles of him changing his mind about what the world is and what his mission is. And in this film, it's full bore on that. And then he realizes his friend's still alive, which I think is great because then he has to decide what he wants to do, whether he wants to kill him or save him, and he chooses to save him. And the cool
Yeah.
thing about Cap is no matter what, he's willing to die before hurting his friend.
Yeah.
That's how much he believes in people and believes in his friend, that he can get to his friend. And I love that.
Yeah.
He's just so dedicated. Then we get Sam Wilson introduced, which I love. Anthony Mackie. I can't wait to see his journey. I can't wait to be talking about Anthony Mackie's journey more, coming back to this film after we see his Captain America film, which I'm sure is going to be epic. I don't know. It's just so much. His chemistry with Scarlett Johansson. I think this is the best film one of the best films she's been in, if not the best. We get to see from her character. The whole spy mystery. This is where I really started to feel like Marvel films were using genres per film. Like this is really the spy mystery thriller type action theme, right? And it's the first time we get the Russo brothers and the beginning of their journey. And another one. Jesus, I'm on fire. The song. I like to see how I address it. That I say myself that I'm on fire. No one else says it. I just say I'm on fire. It's kind of one of those moments
You're fully self-empowering, dude.
I'm fully believed. That's the Tony Stark in me. But this is the movie where we see the song that's played at the end of Endgame. When he gets home, when Chris Evans gets home, or Cap gets home, and Nick Fury's sitting in his apartment, the song playing in the background to shield out the sound is the song that's played at the end of Endgame when Cap is dancing with Peggy. And I love that.
Cool.
So
Cool.
that song that brings tears to the eyes that Anthony wouldn't know nothing about.
Yeah,
you
what
don't
is
get
that?
tears in the eyes.
I've heard about those.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
so I think my points are just, all over the shop, but it's one of the best films for me. The action,
Yeah. So, John,
everything about it.
how many times did you see Captain America: Winter Soldier?
If you honestly wanted to see how many times I've watched Captain America: Winter Soldier, I would say, if I'm not even shitting you guys, I reckon I've watched it about 25 to 30 times.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I reckon we're up there. Me and Lani both love it. It's one of those, go back to films that you can just watch anytime. Butch knows what I'm talking about. That's how we roll. Cap for life, baby.
Yeah, I think you've seen Captain America: Winter Soldier for every Captain America figure Butch has. He has like 30 of them, right?
Yeah. So for me, it's hard for me. Me and Lani have always talked about this. It's always been one of our top 5 films. And as S-Beam, Sleeping Beauty, said before, that it's his number 2 movie, which is hectic.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know, just everything about it is just the action sequences are some of the best action sequences still to this day, I think, in the MCU. More realistic in the scheme of realism. Wouldn't you agree? No, give me your thoughts.
The thing I remember most is Bucky wreaking havoc on Cap and Black Widow in the streets. That's the thing
Yep.
that's most memorable for me, to be honest. But I think, um, like I said, for me it's really hard to rate movies. But
Mm.
in the context of talking about the phases and how every
Mm.
phase sets up the second phase or the phase after that, going all the way into Endgame, then this
Mhm.
is not that much of an important movie to me. But I really love it.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, as in setting up phases wise, I'll concede on that. Other than the fact that it more so just sets up Cap's journey, more so of him in Civil War. I feel like it
Yeah,
sets him up in Civil War a hell of a lot more than,
yeah.
well, not more than anything, but it just really sets him up for it. I think. And also, thank you. Often
On your
with
left.
the on your left,
Yeah.
also comes back to playing Endgame, and because we've seen it in this, it just again emotions, tears flowing.
I love the dynamics that Anthony Mackie, or the chemistry that Anthony Mackie has with everyone. I love the way he has it with Bucky,
Hmm.
but also
Oh yeah,
with Paul Rudd. The way that Paul Rudd just kicks his ass first in Ant-Man, I think, and then in Civil War he says, "Yeah, I've met him before and nothing happened." That was cool.
yeah. Anthony Mackie is also, I don't know if you guys have seen it, is amazing in a show called Altered Carbon. He was in Altered Carbon
Yeah,
season
yeah,
2. It's a
yeah,
sci-fi show. I loved him in that.
yeah.
And I love. I'm actually about to go back and start watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV series.
Yeah, I will too. I will too.
Yeah, and because his figure's coming, it's not far away, so I'm getting hyped to get in Sam Wilson mode for sure. He's also great in
Look at it again
Pain and
at
Gain.
um, Sharon Carter being a scroll. Just watch it that way.
Yeah,
Look at it that
Sharon
way.
Carter. Yeah, I think Sharon Carter's going to be a scroll for sure. I'm with you. Often says he
I
just got sad
s-
as he remembered he snapped his shield peg.
yeah, I snapped
Sorry.
so many of those damn shield bags. It's insane. I don't know why they insist on doing it that way, because I've
Just
snapped damn
do
near all of them.
the magnets. Do the bloody magnets.
Yeah, yeah,
Do the bloody magnets. And don't say it's because film accuracy, because you ain't doing film accuracy anyway. Just give us
yeah.
the magnets in the shield. Come on, do it. Let's catch up on some of these chats before we move on. Hey, fellas, do you know the way to the
Yeah,
Smithsonian? I'm here to pick up a fossil. That's classic. That's a
yeah.
classic line.
It is.
So many good lines in this. I've watched all the American movies countless times, says William Owens. Yeah, I'm with you there, mate.
Yeah.
That's another one I will continuously go back. That's why I have so many Captain Americas, because I'm like, I think I'll always just have love for these films and his character and just the way Chris Evans portrayed him. Yeah, he just played him so well. S Beam says the rank of Phase 2 for me: Winter Soldier, then Ant-Man, then Ultron, then Guardians, Thor, and
Damn.
Iron Man 3. Damn! I agree with you on Winter Soldier. Ant-Man is hilarious. I'll give you that.
Age of Ultron would have been top 2 for me, I
Mm,
think.
but hey, we all have our things, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm a bit upset, and I feel like it's a personal attack that you're putting Iron Man 3 last, though, SB. I take that as
Even
a
after-
personal attack.
After Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, I'll probably put. I was thinking about it. Thor: The Dark World for me would be the last one in
Yeah,
the
for me too. For me too.
in Phase 2. Because I do love the Ant-Man films, and Paul Rudd is hilarious as Ant-Man. So I
yeah.
agree with Ant-Man being great. It is a freaking great movie, and we will
It
get
is.
to it.
It is.
Have we ever had 21 viewers before?
Nice.
Welcome, everybody.
I think so.
Yes.
I think every episode that we've teased John doing the twerk scenes on his TikToks, I think we had like 20 plus viewers then. Other than that, no. So cool.
Oh, actually,
Welcome everyone.
welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Let me do a shameless hit that like button. Do it. Do it for my lead. Hit that like button. Oh,
Oh,
damn.
man.
Cut the check. Actually, I'm going to start using this
Cut
now.
the check.
Cut the check. Cut the check, YouTube. We got 20 viewers. Woo! Cut the check.
Ric Flair. I actually watched that Ric Flair document after you've been wooing all the time.
Oh, really? Oh,
Ric
man. I
Flair.
woo everywhere I go, guys. Just so
Yeah.
you know, I'm wooing everywhere. Butch, I've been waiting for you to say something here. Butch says Winter Soldier movie introduced Bucky, Batroc, and Sam. It also gave a little background on Nick Fury, Shield. I've seen Winter Soldier 26 times. Oh, do you want to fight? I'm going to go watch it again. Just so I can
It's
have
on
one
now.
more.
It's on now.
Let's have a fight to see who can watch Captain America the most. Oh man, it's a classic though. It is a classic, and I think it deserves high praise in everybody's list of not just films, but in Phase 2, obviously as well.
Except in Martin Scorsese's one, because he says it's not movies. MCU.
Nah, he can suck a fat one. I still like his movies though, but still, yeah.
He's
suck a
just
fat one.
jealous. He's just jealous.
Yeah, he's just jealous. He's just
Yeah.
jealous.
Salty.
You're going to tell me that the music, the tension built in the fight between Bucky, Sam, Black Widow, and Cap on the streets in that scene where he attacks him in the car. You're going to
Yeah,
tell me
that's
that's
cool.
not cinema? Get the
Yeah,
F
but
out
they
of here,
they don't
man.
call Scorsese Salty Marty for nothing. I'll just call him Salty Marty.
Salty Marty. I like that. Mike's in the house. What's going on, Mike?
Yo, welcome
Shout
back.
out to Mike and his figure photography as well. He did a fantastic shot of the
Yeah.
Don about to bust caps in Buzz Lightyear. Poor Buzz.
That was awesome. That figure's face, it looks so busted.
He does. He did actually. That was awesome.
Just having
I
a
just-
great time and just watching up. Oh damn, I'm busted. I think I'm in trouble now. That was cool. It was
He just
very
says
cool.
that's Waleed smashing the like button. Yeah, that's when you smash the like button thing. Waleed jumping through the window, unfazed, unscathed, like a
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah.
Oh, he had so much potential. I want to see a prequel origin story for Waleed. S-Beam, it is not a personal attack, lol. Iron Man 1 and 2 is ranked 2 and 3 of Phase 1.
Cool,
Okay,
cool.
all right, I'll give you that. S-Beam. I kid. I've lost count, but I've got to
Damn.
be close to Butch as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Damn! Hell yeah.
I need to step
We
my
should
game up.
do... You do need to step your game. We should do a live viewing party of Captain America Winter Soldier and make Anthony watch. Definitely over 20.
Dude,
Damn.
live viewing parties, that's a good idea. Maybe not of older things, but maybe newer things. I don't know.
Maybe new.
But that's a good idea, though. It's a good idea.
Yeah, live party. Would you guys be down for if we ever did a live watch party? That'd be pretty cool. We could do that one day. But I'm stalling
We have
here
latency.
because-
We have a lot of latency, though, so it might be a bit weird.
That's true. That is true. I was just finding some posts that looks very photoshopped.
It does.
But I wanted to use this because this fight sequence I think is still one of the best, and I'm happy that Hot Toys made that version of Cap with that outfit because I love it.
Yeah.
I love that figure. This was the second figure I ever bought. Third figure. Third figure I think I ever bought was the Winter Soldier 2-pack. That's how much I love the Winter Soldier. That was in the beginning of my Hot Toys journey. I just need to add some new pictures. Bear with me, guys.
Do it.
But so far,
Do it.
Phase 2's pretty fire, and then we get hit with this, which I had no idea about.
Oh, man, me neither. But they were unimportant characters,
And loved it.
to be honest. But
Yeah,
I really love this.
right?
Talking
Who's with us in the
about a
chat?
feel-good movie.
Yeah.
Everything's
Feel-good
perfect in this movie
movie.
for me. Yeah.
The music, this is one of those films where the music really became a big thing for me in film. Like, just how well thought out the addition of music was to the film and the characters' journeys. Like, I'm a big, for those who watch my posing videos, know that I like to add music into my videos. I love pairing music up with things, and I think music plays a big part in a lot of things.
Yeah, I love how you notice music in the movies and series we do, because I really don't pay attention most of the time to the scores.
Yeah, no, it's a big part for me. And
Cool.
sometimes I'll make a video like this Loki video, for instance, that I'm doing. It's only 10 whole poses, including the outro and intro, when I normally do 12, because it would be too long if I added another 2, right? Because the song I picked, the way this whole video started is I picked the song first. I picked the song that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to pose because I'm doing more cutscenes now.
Yeah.
So I found a song that has raising levels in the build up of the song, and I do the cutscenes in conjunction with the build up of the music, and then till it crescendos into on the turntable with the remainder of the song. So this a little bit of insight. My whole videos are built on whatever song I choose to use, and then that determines how long each pose goes for. Because if the song's a minute 30, and I'm going to talk about it, there's 2 minutes 30 on one pose. That's you times that by 10 or 12. That's a long ass video.
Yeah.
So music is definitely, I think, very important when we're watching films. And if you don't notice it, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing because they've interwoven the music really well. I'm just very akin to music because I used to do music. As we all know, I'm a famous hip hop artist.
TikTok artist, yeah.
Yeah.
Dropping bars all over the place.
Dropping records, dropping drums, all those types of things. Dropping lots of things, just dropping mics, all those. I drop things. But yes, music in this film really elevated it to the next level. But Anthony, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to focus on your world-renowned local music career.
Look, I'm big in Japan.
yeah. But I recently saw an interview with Dave Bautista, how he was after WWE, he was trying to get work as an actor. He went to acting school, but he had a really hard time finding jobs, and he couldn't get any work for 2 years, or maybe even more. And this was his break. This was after Guardians of the Galaxy. He got non-stop movies, so this was actually his breakthrough movie. So Saldana was always viable in Hollywood. But Chris Pratt, I think this is his first action movie, right? Because he got after The Office, he got really buff for this one.
He got jacked.
He got to be like an action star. A funny action star with great delivery. So that was cool. And I think it's the first time Groot and Rocket ever did a movie.
I'm pretty sure it's the first time ever. Imagine if they took out the Groot and Rocket and added the actors. You'd have Bradley Cooper, who's an amazing actor, and Vin Diesel's on the poster together. How crazy is that when you think about it? Parks and Rec, not Office, sorry, Parks and Rec.
And it's also James Gunn's brother, right? Who does some of the walking of Rocket.
Yeah. I think James Gunn's brother does, I think, a bit of both, Groot and Rocket. Or James Gunn does one of them, I'm pretty sure, when they're on set.
James Gunn did. I don't know.
I'll just touch on what S-Beam said here. Yes, I've ranked all the MCU with the guys over on Collector's Figure. Oh, damn.
That would be so hard for me.
That would be very hard to do, S-Beam. I feel like I would struggle.
It would feel like cheating, though.
Said it would. I'd feel like I'm hurting the other movies. I'm like, no, but I love this movie too.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier was the first to combine with the Marvel series, wasn't it? Can you elaborate, Mike? I'm not remembering. What do you mean? With the Marvel series, Winter Soldier. Do you mean? Yeah. No. Give us a bit more. I am an underground rapper. That is true. The Empire Strikes Back. Welcome. Welcome. We have 22 people on the live stream. What's going on?
Underground battle rapper.
You're here to see a rap. Look, if we get to 30 people, I'll bust a rap. If we get 30 viewers, I will bust a rap. I will drop.
Dude, I will hold you to it
right now.
I will hold you to it.
Yeah, there you go. Look, it's at 23. Holy shit! We get to 30. I will rap for you live on camera right now.
So I'm sure someone will turn on the Russian bots just to get to 100 now.
All the booty bots.
And the booty bots.
And then we'll get DS. Yeah, we'll get DS on here one day as well for that.
This is a great question, though.
We had booty bots last time we did a show together. So is it better to watch these movies in timeline order or phase order? I like timeline, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the phases.
I like timeline. I think I like timeline. Yeah, we went back. Me and Lonnie went back and did the timeline a long time ago.
Cool. So you started with Ms. Marvel, or
at the time, I think it was Captain Marvel. Yeah, it was Captain Marvel. I'm pretty sure at the time.
And now you would need to start with Wakanda Forever. Just because of Namor.
Yeah, because of Namor, we'd have to go back to it. I can't wait to rewatch that when it hits Disney Plus. It's not long now. Cannot wait. So to answer, I guess we should try and help Empire Strikes Back. I think it's your own personal preference, to be honest. If you want to watch it like the story from how it would be set out in time, which I think is hard to do going back more so, don't you think? Like,
Yeah.
imagine if Marvel started with Captain Marvel. It'd be a completely different thing.
Yeah, for me,
So-
it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense.
So, I
So
like
for-
that they
yeah.
did that. I like that you have the option to do both on Disney Plus, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go.
And I think symbolically, you need to start with Iron Man 2, Iron Man 1. Just because that was the big gamble. That was the make or
Yeah.
break movie of the Marvel Studios. It was either that or there was no Marvel Studios. And
Damn straight.
I think you need to see it to see how brilliant it was. Because it was the first one and it's still an awesome movie. Even the first 5 minutes, I love those.
Yeah,
They're awesome.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
When the new Mark III comes out, it'll be a time when I'm rewatching the film again. I guarantee it. I used to have the picture of him after he shot the tank and it blows up and he's walking away as a wallpaper on my computer for so long.
Yeah.
For many years, even before I was really into collecting that, I had that. I just knew I loved the character in the film.
Yeah.
So often says James Gunn did the Baby Groot dance. Oh wow,
Oh yeah, true.
that's cool.
But that's in
Marvel
Guardians of the
Agents
Galaxy
of
2,
S.H.I.E.L.D..
right?
Okay. Number 2, yeah, it's for number 2.
Yeah.
I guess we got to start talking about Guardians in a sec. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it tied directly to the story. Okay.
I never watched that.
Yeah.
I tried to get into Age of Shield, but I really couldn't. I couldn't
Yeah, I couldn't.
hit the like button.
Renz is in the house. What's up,
Renz is
Renz?
waking up. Thank you.
Renz is awake
you.
after a hard night of partying. Release order for me.
For me too.
So
for me
often,
too.
yeah, his release order. Yeah.
The
Not
thought
the bots. We got the thought bots. We'd be there and I'd be busting. I've watched so Empire Strikes Again says, I've watched in timeline and release order, but wondered if it would give a different perspective in phase order. Well, I think phase order is the traditional way. I think
Yeah.
we've all watched that at some point. You know, I mean,
Yeah, and
that's
just watch them a
the way to see
gazillion
it.
times, and it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. But it does give you a bit of a different perspective because then if you watch Captain Marvel first, you're thinking about how early Nick Fury has known about all of this stuff. You know what I mean? You'd see him being in it from day one.
Yeah, but for me, it would be weird to start with Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just good. It's maybe a once off. I say do both. Hey, you can do both. Go watch them both that
Yeah,
way.
I think release order. Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
release
DS
order.
says as well. I think release order is better, especially for new people. A lot of spoilers in later movies in the end
Yeah.
credits. Oh, true, actually. Yes, good point.
True.
Good point. Agreed. Yeah. Okay. So go phase order, bruv. Go phase order. But Guardians of the Galaxy, when this first came out, I had no idea about these guys. I just knew I loved it. Right?
Yeah.
I just knew it was fun, exciting. Chris Pratt was charismatic. It was a breakout role for him. Breakout role for Drax. James Gunn built his team of
Freaks.
I guess Guardians, yeah, team of freaks. And man, I can't wait to see where their story goes. But in this film, this also introduces another Infinity Stone, so we're seeing more stones come in. I think that's one of the reasons why they maybe brought him in because they tied to Thanos.
Yeah.
We get why am I forgetting her name? Not Gamora, her sister. Damn, why have I forgotten? her
Nebula.
name? Nebula. Yeah, Nebula. Who?
Yeah,
who
I
plays
was
a big
thinking
part.
you were going to say Ronan, so that's why I was I was a bit slow on that one.
We've got Ronan here, so
Yeah.
classic moment of him taking the stone, and he's half celestial, and it still nearly killed him. So going back to the ether being in Jane, good point, Anthony. Good point, my friend. But the dance scene battle and the fact that the dance scene in this comes back
Kevin
to play at the
Bacon.
Guardians Christmas special. Kevin Bacon, baby. This is where the seed of Kevin Bacon was planted. In
This all
moment
ties
right
into
here.
Christmas. It all ties into Christmas.
This all ties it. All ties into Christmas.
Dude,
I can't wait for Christmas again.
I'm so glad that you got this one because this reminded me of the Usual Suspect lineup scene
Yes.
with Benicio del Toro and how many fucking
Yeah.
pieces van cocksucker and
That-
and Chris Pratt had the machine with his middle finger.
yeah. This again, the Guardians films remind me of the Ant-Man films. Feel good comedy, like Ant-Man's a comedy heist. This is a comedy space journey. I love the differences between them, but they're still feel good comedies that make you smile when you watch them. Ranked in phases, by the way. That makes sense, actually. I think that's how we'd have to do it, like SBM's saying. Rank the films. You could do that. You could rank them in the phase and then put the phases together and see where they rank. Maybe if you go, your top film from each phase would be your top 4 films, I guess. Right?
I couldn't.
I'd be doing too many, like, but can I put 2,
Yeah.
2 films at the same? Anything else you want to say about Guardians before we move on to Avengers: Age of Ultron? We've got 2 films left.
Guardians
after
is
this.
perfect for me. I really loved it. I really loved it.
Boom. Empire Strikes Again is going to go check out SBeam. Make sure you subscribe
Yeah.
to SBeam too, guys. Go show him some love.
Yeah, and you need to subscribe to SBeam, but he might change the channel name to Sleeping Beauty sometimes, and sometimes even Working Beauty. So,
Yeah, so don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed.
yeah.
Don't be alarmed.
Same
There's a
channel.
good- Same channel.
Which reminds me, the DS's channel, Unbox 'em and Box 'em Up, that would be like the perfect channel name for me, because that's what I do when I get a figure. I unbox them and then I think, okay, no space, gotta box them up again. Off for storage.
Yeah, that's right. Off the storage. I like that. I like that name, DS. That's cool. Look how jacked Drax is here too. He's definitely not quite as jacked in the newer films. He's getting a bit older.
Yeah.
But he was freaking huge.
Less steroids.
I was watching Batista back in the day when he
Oh,
was
shit.
in. You got a call? Okay, we'll continue with that, Anthony, for a sec. I used to watch Drax when he was in the WWE. That's how far back. Not Drax. What's his name? Batista. Same guy. Lol. What's Empire Strikes saying? Photography on my Loki. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I been loving playing around with Loki. He's a cool figure. Definitely a cool figure. And I think I've got him in the pose right now that I think I might leave him in forever. I actually don't know if I ever want to change it, to be honest. I can look at him right over here. But I love that figure. What's Ren saying? I thought that was my phone's alarm. Nice. I thought Anthony would have had a more stealth ringtone than that. I was a little surprised. I seem to have some like Mission Impossible type theme. I imagine that's what Anthony does when he's not posing up figures and on the show. I imagine him doing stealth missions. He's a very shady career. Batista, I was watching when he debuted. So was I, S-Beam. I was when he debut with Triple H. Correct me if I'm wrong, because he was teamed up with Triple H for a long time. I feel like I remember that. I just remember thinking about how that's like when Brock Lesnar was in there too, and how jacked those guys were. They were so juiced up back then. I think that's before they stopped juicing up as much. Anthony, the new Working Beauty. Esme says, I have Drax holding a bag of candy like he's eating Zug nuts. That is awesome. Do we think we're going to get a new Drax for Guardians 3? And do you want it from the Christmas special, or do you want to get it from Guardians 3? And do you guys think we will actually get all of the Guardians this time from Guardians 3? Because if this is going to be their last iteration together, I would hope that Hot Toys would pay attention to that and just do the whole team. Give us the newest, best versions. Make this the ultimate versions of the Guardians and put them in Hot Toy version to go with Guardians film. And do you guys think that could only happen if the film is a massive hit? If the film doesn't do as good, do you think we'll lose? Like, I think if the film's not a hit, I don't think we'll get another Drax. What do you guys think? I'm going to check the comments while you type. DS says, this is my boring channel. I just shoot videos for condition purposes when I sell a figure or car I'm shipping out. Oh, wow. Actually, okay, cool. That's a good idea. You're not mixing your channels up then. I've actually thought about doing that for the rundown, because doing a live show and then doing other shows affects the algorithm, apparently.
So I need to leave.
Good idea, DS.
No. Good luck.
You didn't even get to Age of Ultron.
Have
Damn
fun.
it.
Yeah, that's the most important one. But
Oh,
told you we should have done Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron.
Oh, Anthony's been looking forward to this for so long
So
too.
much, yeah. Okay.
Bastard.
Anyway,
all right,
bye-bye.
all
Take
right.
care.
I'll try and do you proud, brother.
Yeah.
Peace.
I'll just watch the backlog and see if it works.
Okay. If you need to message me anything you want me to say about Age of Ultron, voice to
Yeah,
text
I'll
or
just be
something when you're
driving, so
driving.
I don't think I'll be matching a lot. But I love Age of Ultron because it really sets up a lot. It sets up Tony's arc. It sets up so much, and so that's why I really like it. Okay,
Damn
bye-bye.
it. Okay. We'll do our best. We'll do our best to continue, brother.
See you next
Catch ya.
week.
See ya. Damn. That sucks. Anthony just got killed off. All right, let's continue then. Anthony is actually Ethan Hunt, says AJ. I agree. He debuted as a bodyguard for someone. He had long hair. Okay. That was OVW. Yes. Man, that's a long time ago when I used to watch wrestling. He was so awesome in that. Needs seamless body, though, in my opinion. Yeah, I would like a seamless body for Drax. I just don't think we'll ever get it with the tattoos and the way his skin is. I feel like that's all new technology that they just wouldn't do. They're not even doing it on the Avatar figures. I feel like the Avatar figures should have a seamless option. And I think it's a bit disappointing that they don't, to be honest. Which is another conversation for another time. Maybe a jacked Groot. A jacked Groot would be cool. All I know is I would love to see all the Guardians get made. What's Empire Strikes? So who is getting killed off? I don't know. I think Drax could. He'll either walk off into the sunset or he'll get killed off. I know a lot of people think that Drax is going to get killed off because he's in real life. Batista said he's not coming back as Drax. He's done after this. I will always say, give it time. If they don't kill him off, he could definitely come back because, as you know, actors' careers don't take off. Sometimes they come back to the roles that made them famous. So there could be potential that he does get killed off, but I think don't go in assuming anything. Let's just see what happens. Ren says, Hot Toys better not forget to make Cosmo the dog if they'll make the whole team. That could be an accessory, 2-pack. Maybe a Groot and dog together. Although I think, not Groot, sorry, Rocket. Although I think Raccoon's going to have another, I think there's another character that we're going to meet. Deacon Devon's bodyguard is how he debuted. Thank you, S-Beam. Damn, he was so young back then. And there's everybody getting upset. I feel bad now. I should have just jumped to Age of Ultron for Anthony because I know he had a lot to say about it. Now he's bloody going to miss out on it. I'm about to have to vanish too, unfortunately. No! AJ, don't leave us. I understand, brother. Catcher. S-Beam says later. Khonshu, why take Anthony from us? Maybe Rocket. Yeah, Rocket could die. And Nebula. You think Nebula could die? Really? Kevin Bacon with the box DX. Yes, I want a Kevin Bacon. Hey, look, if we were ever going to get a Kevin Bacon, this is the chance. They've got the license. They could literally just make a Kevin Bacon. Imagine if we just got a Kevin Bacon from Guardians 3. That'll never happen, but imagine. We can do Anthony's part next week. Yeah, we'll let Anthony have his say about about Age of Ultron in the next one. Because literally, we're on to Avengers Age of Ultron now. We've got 2 films to go, guys. I'm going to power through and try and give you my thoughts. Please help me out and chime in your thoughts because I think that, like Anthony said, there's so much in this film that sets up so much to come. And I'm not going to be able to do Anthony justice and deliver the types of eloquent points he would have, but I'm going to do my best. I just watched Avengers Age of Ultron probably for the 20th time, not last night, the night before, just because I can always rewatch this film. So many amazing moments from it, and so much story. Not only so much story, but amazing moments. And I remember back in the day that this movie didn't get a lot of love when it first came out at the cinema. Am I wrong? Or were people hating on this when it came out? And this, keeping in mind, was Joss Whedon. How can Joss Whedon go from this to Justice League? I do not know how. But again, that's not his film, I guess. Language. That's probably one of the best moments ever, often, from Avengers Age of Ultron. We kick off with the action sequence at the start, which is epic. I remember watching this. You get to see Hulk actually hulking out and kicking ass in this film, which is really cool. I do remember watching this when Hawkeye gets shot at the start, and I thought, oh, damn, bloody Hawkeye. First of all, he gets possessed in Avengers 1. Then in Age of Ultron, he's getting shot. But it actually worked out well because this is where we see Hawkeye really start to take on that mentor type of role with Scarlet Witch, which I really enjoyed. I could see more from them in the future if they ever bring Renner back. I think seeing Renner and Scarlet Witch together again, I think would be really cool because his relationship continued with her from this to Civil War. Let's not forget when he comes to break her out of the compound. What's Ren saying? Age of Ultron is the movie that you begin to appreciate as the MCU continues. 100%. 100%. Hey, big guy, sun's getting real low. Look at all these classic catchphrases that came from this film. Often's dropping knowledge. SBM says, I think the argument could be had that Ultron was a Thanos-level threat, and for him to only get one movie was kind of a disappointment to some. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. I think that Ultron is coming back, though, to be fair. He was in What If? Infinity Ultron, let's not forget. That figure must be close to coming out, too. But I think he's going to be back. I've been watching some shows with the reports saying that he could be, whether they're true or not, who knows. But I think it would be cool to see him come back. DS says, Age of Ultron bounces in and out of my top 5. A lot was packed into this movie. James Spader was great as Ultron. Yeah. I think you're right, DS. Like, James Spader played the character perfectly. But there is so much put into this film when you think about it. You got the Hulk Buster versus Hulk. That CGI, the amount of money they would have spent on CGI for this film would have been crazy. We also get, obviously, more Infinity Stones. We get Vision. Don't forget, we get Vision. So we get Hulkbuster versus Hulk. We get Vision. We get Hawkeye taking on more of a mentoring role. Thor probably had the least to do in this film, to be fair. We get Selvig. Don't forget, Selvig pops up, which is also a highlight. Cap had a pretty good journey. I'm just trying to remember Cap. Yeah, Cap was probably not as big at the forefront of this film as some of the other guys, but it really felt like an ensemble film. Actually, I tell a lie. When Tony and Cap are cutting wood together at Hawkeye's house, I think that was the first telltale sign of their differing opinions, which leads to Civil War. Is anyone with me on that? Because when they start arguing, and isn't this where Iron Man says to Cap, or Tony says to Steve, should I say, about the suit of armor on the world and we'll lose, and Cap says we'll lose together. And that comes back to play very importantly in Endgame when Tony gets back and he says, you said we'd lose together. I think Anthony's messaging me. Let's see. Yep, Anthony's giving me some points. All right, do you guys want to hear from Anthony? Let me hear from. Let's throw some of Anthony's points up. Anyway, I love how Age of Ultron is a consequence of Tony's confrontation in Avengers 1 and Wanda's magic. The Mind Stone creating Wanda and Pietro, them being the only survivors because they're mutants. Boom, introduction of mutants as well into the MCU. Age of Ultron and Sokovia directly set up Civil War, and the end sequence sets up Infinity War. Great ensemble cast. I just loved it. No tears anyway, of course. That's some of Anthony's points, and I think he's spot on. Let me just keep that there because Iron Dory. I don't want to forget some of the points. So we get the Mind Stone, we get Wanda and Pietro, we get mutants, we get the setup for Civil War again, because the events of this film sets up Civil War and the action of people dying, and this kicks off the villain, who's one of the best villains I think of all time, in Civil War, without even having any action sequences. Interested to see what else he does in the MCU going forward too. Man, it does set up a lot. Damn, Anthony. And it carries on from Avengers 1. So even within all these different separate films, the Avengers film have that continuing arc of their own, as well as having continuing arcs from the individual films in between. Masterful when you actually think about it and go back and look. I'm just going to catch up on some of your chats, guys. And Cap used a bad word. He did use a bad word. We love to hear Cap use bad words. Often Studios says Ultron definitely got rushed. He should have had same arc as Tony in Iron Man. Yeah, Iron Man 1, Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, etc. But still love this film. Yeah, like it's still a great. If you take away your expectations of what Ultron should have been, the film is great on its own as a film. Empire Strikes again says I've watched every Marvel movie at least 3 or 4 times apart. Phase 4 stuff, it just doesn't have the same impact. Well, I would. That's another conversation. We get Ken O'Loy in this. We do. One Way Out. He's great as. Oh, we also get, might I add, the introduction of Wakanda. Let's not forget, and the battle in Wakanda. Of Hulk versus Hulkbuster, which I do have a picture of. Boom. That was a terrible photo. Sorry, guys. Often didn't help out this week. He just completely shunned me. I was begging him for slides and he didn't bother to send any through, but that's okay, Often. Don't worry about it. But that's my attempt at a picture. Skarsgård. No. Selvig. Yes, beam. Come on. I don't trust a guy without a dark side. Yeah, that's another good. And that was the start of their friction. Let's just say you haven't seen it yet. Man, you're remembering all the words. That up there, that's the end game. And Tony says that's the end game, which I do want to touch on, that vision that he has created by Scarlet Witch. Often Studios, Nick Fury, try not to bring that John Deere traitor to life. Yes. Now, that actually, Often, great segue, because I made a point. When you rewatch this film, right, whether anybody cares about this point, I do not know. But when, if anybody can let me know Hawkeye's wife's name, what's his wife's name again? What's Clint's wife's name? If anybody can give me her name, throw it in there. Because rewatching it, I noticed the other night, for the first time, now I've watched this film God knows how many times, but I only just noticed that Hawkeye's wife comes to Tony and asks him to have a look at the tractor in the shed. Now, whilst that might not be anything to think about, having seen Hawkeye series now and seeing that she was an agent, spoilers if you haven't watched Hawkeye show, we learned that Hawkeye's wife was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, if you go back to, we didn't know this before, right? I don't think anybody knew she was an agent. They never said that she was an agent. But in Avengers of Age of Ultron, she's the one that comes and asks Tony to go look at the tractor in the shed where Nick Fury is waiting for him. Now, when watching Avengers Age of Ultron, you could think that Nick's just snuck in there and he confronts Tony. However, I think, looking, in retrospectively now, you could say because she was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., she knows Nick Fury and she knew Nick Fury was there and she sent Tony in there. So Nick Fury I think Nick Fury had possibly asked her to send Tony in. Let me know, guys. Am I the only one? Has anyone else noticed that, thought that? Let me know in the chat, because I was kind of tripping the other night when I was like, damn, knowing that she's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., she must have known Nick Fury was in there, and that's why she asked him to go in the shed. Let me know. Hey, we got Mr. Mum Collectibles in the house. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Ryan? Welcome. Welcome to the chat, sir. Often says Bruce, Wakanda. Yep, we get Wakanda. What are you sorrying about? I'm trying to catch up. Mr. Mom Collectible says, Age of Ultron was a solid movie. Definitely was hard as a follow-up to the first Avengers movie. Yeah, but as we're saying here, I think there's a lot going on in Avengers Age of Ultron when you look back on it. Laura, thank you, Often. I think Laura knew that Nick Fury was in there because she's an agent and she sent Tony in there to meet with Nick. It's a throwaway moment. Thank you guys for throwing Laura in there. But would you agree that that's possible? Not just any agent. Mockingbird, Agent 19. Sorry, yes, Often. That's why I have you, because you throw that in there for me. Unhip Sleet Productions, what's up? Welcome to the chat, brother. We've also got Boba Fettuccini. Hello, sir. Thank you for being here. Love that name. Empire Strikes Again says, as someone who doesn't read the comics, for my sins, as with the Gen Pop, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and Spider-Man are household names. This could be a major influence as to why the later films, continuing on, have not been as successful. Yeah, that would definitely play a part. And people don't like change generally either, mate. But they've got to start again. They just ended a phase. So this is them rebooting, essentially starting again with new characters. And you agree. Fantastic. Laura was probably sent by Nick Fury. I think Nick Fury went to her and asked her to get Tony. 100%. Maybe Fury told. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Renz. So I think that he told her to go send Tony in to look at the tractor, because you think about it. Tony and Steve are talking. She comes out of nowhere. Hey, can you look at my tractor? What? Hawkeye is already fixing everything in the house. They even make point to talk about how Hawkeye's talking about fixing when he's driving in the car in Sokovia at the end. He's talking to Nat about fixing what he's going to do with the house when he gets home. He's a man who can fix things. So why would she be getting Tony to go look at a tractor? I reckon completely dodge. She knew Nick Fury was there. She was sending him in. Case solved. Case closed. That's what's up. Give myself a pat on the back. Give me a like for that, guys. That's something no one's talked about. Woo! Love it. Anyway, I'm going mad when Anthony's not here, by the way. Steve, he said a bad word. Age of Ultron was a great movie. My only disappointment was that they killed Quicksilver. I feel you, Butch. He's a great actor, but that's okay because he might become Bond. You never know. Often says my favorite line from Vision. That's true. He hates you the most. Yeah, I love that. Don't forget also, we see Vision hold Mjolnir, which is pretty awesome. And we get the payoff moment. Man, when you think about it, there's so many bloody moments from this movie. You also get the moment where Cap goes to lift Mjolnir and you see Thor's face, which they pay off in Endgame when he's like, I knew it. Just think about it, guys. There's so much that pays off later in other films from this film. Boba Fettuccine says, that's a good point. I don't recall, but did she ask Tony to go check out the tractor in front of Hawkeye, or wasn't he, or when he wasn't around? She asked him to go check out the tractor when he was talking to Steve, when they were chopping wood, and that's when they started to have a little bit of a disagreement. But my point is, your husband is a fix-it man. That you wouldn't even. It's not like you need him to go check the tractor now. There's no reason. You've got all the Avengers at your house. There's no reason that you need your tractor to get looked at now. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Hawkeye wouldn't have been far because they're all hiding out, having just got their asses kicked. So I think it was definitely a setup to get him to go see Nick. My other point would be, why would she need to? Why couldn't Nick Fury just come and say hello to everybody? Why was he trying to be secretive? That I don't understand. Butch, you didn't see that coming. Butch did not see him, not see him dying. Ultron is a very underrated movie. Yeah. And we're just from a pure perspective of all the things it sets up, all the payoffs that get paid off in other films down the road. I mean, even to this day in WandaVision, you get a callback to Quicksilver, you get a callback to Wanda's journey when she was in the rubble. Oh, no, actually, no, that's when she was a child. Sorry, my apologies, not Age of Ultron. Trying to keep up with you guys. It's not perfect, but it still has a lot of great stuff in it, and it's probably most like the comics and cartoons. Often also says, sees baby Nathaniel Pietro Batron Nick Nat Fat. What the hell are you saying, Often? I can't even read that properly. Yeah, sounds like a setup that Hawkeye was not aware of maybe. Yeah, it's strange, but just a fun little point. Anyway, is there anything anybody in the chat wants to add about Age of Ultron? I'm hoping I've done Anthony proud and covered everything. He's messaged me. I think it even set up Thor and Banner's placement in Ragnarok. It does, because Hulk takes the ship, which sends him off. So Hulk vanishes after this, which explains why he isn't there for Civil War. And Thor goes back to his home planet, pretty sure at the end. So it does. It sets up Ragnarok. It sets up Civil War. It sets up Wanda's journey and the introduction of mutants. It sets up the Vision. If we go back to the visions at the start, where Tony sees, I think those visions were awesome. Seeing more of Black Widow's history, seeing, we don't see anything for Bruce because he just goes mad, which I thought was interesting. But we see Cap missing Peggy, it's just a way to bring Peggy back, keep her on our mind, because obviously in the next Avengers films, he goes back to her to spend his days. It really did set up a lot. And looking back, I think this is a movie that could have been a 3-hour movie if they wanted to fit in more and give more to Ultron. We get Wakanda, all that stuff. Man, crazy. Unhip Sleet Production says that image hyped me up so much back in the day. Even now, it's epic. Yeah, it is epic. I don't know if you guys remember, but the epic display of Hot Toys that you had for the final battle scene, I would love to have something like that. We could have the entire battle scene of them just beating the shit out of robots everywhere. It would have been awesome to have. It's definitely a big jumping off point. Yeah, this is where shit really kicked off into phase 3, because phase 3 is, nuts. Lots of underlying stuff in Age of Ultron. It's a critical film in the MCU. 100%. It definitely is. It just sets up so much. And we just had no idea back then of all the things it was setting up, especially with Vision and Tony's journey and Cap's journey leading into Civil War, the ramifications of that. This film created Baron, what's his name? The villain in Civil War. This film created him, which has even more of an effect into Falcon and the Winter Soldier and things like that continue on. His journey even continues. This film created him, which in turn takes out Black Panther's dad, which just sets off so much. Crazy. And Cap has one of my favorite moments in the MCU when he's fighting Ultron in Korea, and then he jumps back on the truck and says, "Come on," come back on the truck and says, "Come on." Yeah, that's cool. I love it actually when he's fighting Ultron and Nat's like, "Keep him distracted." He's like, I thought that's what I've been doing. He's getting his ass kicked. Zemo, that's it. This film creates Zemo, which frames Bucky, which brings Bucky back into the fold. Man. Sets up Cap's America's ass. It does. I'm glad you asked that, because I wanted to take this time to explain my evil plan. Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. Classic film, one of the best when you think about it. And the Hulkbuster fight is phenomenal. Let's move on to the last one, guys. Anthony, if you're rewatching this, I hope I did you proud, or if you're listening while you're driving. If I miss anything, we'll talk about it next week when we review the first episode of The Last of Us. That's what we're going to be watching next week, guys. That brings us to Ant-Man, and I think this is fitting because Ant-Man and Quantumanium, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium is coming, and I think there's going to be some things from Ant-Man that's good to rewatch. I'm going to rewatch both Ant-Man films in preparation for Quantumanium, which is not far away. What's that? Often says, "If you die, walk it off." That's a classic line. That's one of my favorites. I really miss the days where the weirdest thing science had created was me. That's another one. A lot of great lines from this film, guys. But moving on to Ant-Man, S-Beam's second favorite film in the phase. Now, I love Ant-Man because of the comedy, the heist element to the first one. I really, really enjoyed. Paul Rudd was a great choice. He got in shape for it as well. Not that matters, but I think it just adds to him being a bit more of a hero. And the villain, I'm going to forget the name, but hopefully Offen will save me of the villain in this, who becomes MODOK, I think. I'm pretty sure he's going to become MODOK in Quantumanium. If anybody else has heard about that, let me know. But think about the films and how different this film could have been, because they had a completely different director. I think Edgar Wright was the first director of this film who left, kind of like in a Blade situation. I know there's a bit of drama recently with the creating of Blade, how they changed directors, they've changed the script. Mahershala Ali wasn't happy with the way the script was going. And there's been a bit of drama surrounding that. Let's not forget that same drama happened with Ant-Man back in the day when Edgar Wright left the film and they brought in the new director now. Who killed it. I'm forgetting his name, but he's also directed a Mandalorian episode as well, which is great. I think he directed the Snow episode of The Mandalorian. Peyton Reed, that's his name. Boom, I just remembered. Peyton Reed came in, and I think his humor, his style was phenomenal. the storytelling from his friend. Yeah, Peyton Reed. Often's dropping in with all the names for me. Yellow Jacket, Darren Cross. Darren Cross. Darren Cross is phenomenal in, I think, the 4th or 5th season of Billions, where he becomes a main character. His acting is next level. But yeah, I think he's going to be Mordok. Unhip Sleep Productions says, I love Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, especially in the first Ant-Man, 100%. This is another one of those films that you just have that warm comfort zone type of feel when you watch it. It's a good comedy. It's got action. It's part of the Marvel universe. As I've mentioned before on this show, for people that haven't been here before, I look at Marvel as, imagine if Marvel was your only TV that you could ever watch. Imagine if Marvel was the only thing, right? And stick with me here. I feel like Marvel are creating a world of different genres within all their films. I'm a big believer in that. Like Captain America Winter Soldier is the spy thriller, Guardians of the Galaxy is the space adventure. You've got Captain America is the political side. You've got Ant-Man as more of the highest comedy type of film. And I really think this is like going back to watch one of those comfortable comedies that you like, the Ant-Man films for sure. I'm assuming the third one is not going to be like that from how it's looking. But definitely the first two, you get that comedy, highest fun type of vibe from it. What are you guys saying? Often says Ultron can't tell the difference between saving the world and destroying it. Where do you think he gets that? Oh yeah, that was a good saying, actually. Good point. Often from Ultron. Peyton Reed, yes. And Boba Fettuccine says, love Ant-Man, excellent movies. They are. They're just fun movies, especially the first one. I think I like the first one better than the second one. Although I do love the second one, when he's really small and trying to go in the school to get the backpack. That to me was hilarious. He's Peter Russo to me. Nice. I love the moment. I love the moment in this movie. Will await your thoughts, sir. Touching on the action sequences in this, I think the way they did the miniature worlds was fantastic. This is the first time we'd really seen that in these types of films at this level, especially when he got the suit and seeing his journey of becoming Ant-Man. But this fight scene happening in his daughter's bedroom, these movies also resonate with me because I have a daughter. And I think about time with her and how time is and all that type of stuff. And I think that's a big part. And I think that's going to play a big part in Quantumanium is the time that he's lost with her, being gone for 5 years. I think that's going to play a big part on possibly the deal that he's going to make with Kang. Because from what I've seen, he seems to make a deal with Kang to get more time with his family. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen there, because that's a tough one. To put a hero, I think Scott's going to be put in a position, because at this time, like through Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2, he does heroic things, and he is a hero at heart, being that what he went to jail for, it was something heroic, and he stood up for something. I like that. But I think we're really going to see his hero arc level up in Quantumanium. Sorry. I ruined the moment, didn't I? Yes, I did. I'm gonna make some tea. That was a funny moment from it. That was a funny moment. Unhip Sleep Productions. We need Lewis to battle Kang. You could knock him out. One hit. Even T.I. is in this movie. Even T.I. is funny. And Polka Dot Man. Don't forget, Polka Dot Man's in this movie. Baskin Robbins always finds out that was classic too. But this is just a freaking feel-good comedy. If you think about Phase 2, right? We had, Tony's journey in Iron Man 3. We had, which was still funny, but a bit more of a closing arc to his films. Because back then, when I saw Iron Man 3, I'm like, oh man, I hope they do more Iron Man movies. I was like sad that I feeling like it had come to an end. And then you got a real serious film in Winter Soldier. You've got, kind of all over the shop Dark World that was trying to set up things, but that had some more serious moments in it, more so. Then Guardians was completely fun adventure. Then you've got Ultron, which was just everything included in it. And then you finish off with a comedy. Ant-Man has always been at the end of a phase or the start of a phase. I just want to put that out there too. Keeping in mind this, Ant-Man 1 is the end of phase 2. Ant-Man 2 is in between Infinity War and Endgame, right? Yeah, Ant-Man 2 is in between Infinity War and Endgame. So you go from Infinity War, where they all lose, to Ant-Man 2. Because at the end of Ant-Man 2 is when he vanishes into the quantum realm and they all disappear. And then now Ant-Man 3 is the start of Phase 5, which I've just found interesting how they slated the movies to fit in around then. Because it's going to be interesting to see how much of a comedy this one is. Because I honestly don't think this next film is going to be much of a comedy at all. I think there's too much they've got to do. And if anyone can help me out in the chat, do we know the runtime of Ant-Man Quantumanium yet? Has it been put out there? I'm assuming it'll be over 2 hours, but I feel like with what they're setting up, they're going to need some time to flesh that story out. R.I.P. Anthony. That was, I remember that. I remember that often. Okay, first thing we should do is call the Avengers. Yeah. He is an Avenger now, though. What do you guys think? I wanted to ask this question. What do you guys think about these guys' chemistry? Do you like their chemistry? Do you think they have good chemistry? I feel like they do. I quite like her as an actress. I don't know about her hairstyle in the third one. I know it's a moot point, but I like her with that hairstyle more so. I do understand it's more comic accurate, right, though, the shorter hair. Kind of made her look a lot older, though. Kang will knock the comedy out of Ant-Man. Yeah, I feel like there's not going to be much comedy. I think if there's going to be any comedy, I mean, which there is because we've seen the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, it'll be at the start of the film. And maybe some moments throughout to add a bit of levity to it, but we'll see. Ant-Man 3 really needs to kick off Phase 5 strong. Yeah. There's a lot of expectations on it. Who would have thought little old Ant-Man would have all this pressure on his shoulders leading into Phase 5 to carry the MCU? I like them a lot together. Do you guys think that Ant-Man's going to die? I don't think he is. And will we see more Ant-Man films? Because, I mean, this is the third film. Generally, actors sign on for trilogies, right? He might pop up in other Avenger films if he doesn't die. Or will this be the end of Ant-Man? Will he die and that be the end of Ant-Man? And will Cassie continue the torch for Young Avengers? Who knows? But what do we think? Do we think we're going to get... Do you think... Because, I mean, what a way to kick off Phase 5 by having Ant-Man sacrifice himself to take Kang out. Which would kind of suck, though, because if we know Kang's going to be around longer. So it'd suck for Ant-Man to take out Kang for then Kang to still be around. I feel like it would cheapen his death. So I don't see him dying now that I think about it. I hope we get the TVA in Quantumanium. I think we could. Do you think we'll get Deadpool pop up in Quantumanium? Probably not. And we have an Ant-Man trilogy now. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. Ant-Man won't die, but a variant of him will. Yeah, I think lots of variants. I feel like lots of variants of Ant-Man will die. I think Hank might die because Michael Douglas is getting up there. And I think he's probably done, being that it's a trilogy as well, keeping in mind. They probably signed on for an original trilogy. He's probably done after it. Someone's dying. I think a lot of people are dying in this phase. I think Phase 5 is going to be the phase of people dying. Quantumanium, someone's going to die. I feel like Guardian, someone could die. But we will see. But not to get too far off point, Ant-Man 1 as a film, I think it's a great comedy, great story. It doesn't set up the quantum realm yet, does it? No, it does. Yeah, it does. It starts the introduction of the quantum realm, right? Yeah, because he goes subtonic. It'd be kind of a cool thing if he sacrifices. So Unhip Sleep Production says it would be kind of cool thing if he sacrifices himself in a really cool moment. But I love Ant-Man and I'd like to see him in the next Avengers movies. Yeah, I don't want him to die. I want him to live. But I'm just thinking about what are they going to do to create urgency about Kang? You got to do something to create urgency about Kang because Kang wasn't very dangerous in Loki. Whilst he was, I think that version of him was necessary because that was the nice version of him trying to explain. And I think that's going to be more apparent when we see how this Kang interacts, the difference between the different variants of him. But I do think definitely something's going to happen with time, and it's going to be tied heavily into him and his daughter. I think that's going to play a big part, a real big part. Maybe Hank recreates Ultron to make it more comic accurate. Maybe. That'd be interesting often. Either way, it's all speculation now until the film comes out. But either way, I'm hyped. But I think we're going to wrap it there, guys. Any final points anybody wants to add, let me know. Whoa, I just got real big on the screen there. I might just bring up one more slide as we close off. Just a quick recap. If I can go back to it. Boom. Just to quickly look over the films again. Iron Man 3, Thor Dark World, Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. If you look at that phase compared to phase 4, the difference in volume of things that they put out, they have definitely stepped up their volume. And now we hear that they're pulling back on their volume. So I think phase 4 was an experiment of really trying to bring in all the new things that they wanted to introduce to create these different timelines and storylines and all those types of things. A room tour of phase 2 figures. That would be cool. I don't have many, to be honest. I don't have many phase 2 figures other than, geez, what have I got? Avengers of Age. I've got Avengers of Age of Ultron. I'll have an Iron Man 3 one and Captain America Winter Soldier. Yeah, I wasn't collecting as much back then. I think phase 2, though, as it stands, is a very strong phase of films, and I thoroughly enjoyed going back. I think once we finish The Last of Us, because we are going to be reviewing doing a rundown each week of The Last of Us, because that first episode airs today for me, as I am in the future. That comes out on HBO today. We don't get HBO, so I have to get it another way. But we'll be reviewing that every week moving forward until that's done. Then probably that's going to lead into Mandalorian season 3, I would imagine. I think that's not far away, right? Oh, that must be a little far away. But we'll do phase 3 next, guys, where we go over. That's going to be a freaking hectic phase to go over, but fun to rewatch. I can tell you that. I hope you've all had fun today, guys. I've had fun talking about it. It's a damn shame we lost Anthony. I know he had a lot of points he wanted to talk about in Age of Ultron, so I do feel for him. He's a madman. You know, it's like freaking 12:30 midnight for him. Yeah, it's midnight. It's 12:30 a.m. for him, and he's still working. He's a freaking madman. Absolute madman. But shout out to you, Anthony. Quantumanium is next February, so we'll do that, definitely. We'll do a rundown of that. I thank everybody for joining today. We had a lot of new viewers today. So if this is your first time, guys, just a reminder that this show that we do is interactive. I like to read everybody's comments. I like to interact with all you in the chat. Think of it like a live book club where we talk about our films. No professional opinions here. It's just our thoughts and opinions and things that we've picked up. So I really appreciate you all coming along and joining in and joining the chat. And joining a chat is a big thing for us because it helps us, interact with you guys, especially when you're on your own. But I think it's good to get everybody joining the conversation and chatting about these things. Ren says, Last of Us is today already. Wow, game day. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to check it out. I just love Pedro Pascal, so I cannot wait to see what this show's like. Hopefully it's a good one. Empire Strikes Again, great stream. Thanks, brother. Thanks for being here. We hope to see you here for The Last of Us when we come back next week. 5:30 a.m. Western Standard Time, which is God knows what that is, wherever you are in the world. Just check YouTube to see what time it is in your local area. Butch says, Kang is very dark, but it seems like he's going to be humorous and sarcastic like he was in Loki series because he knows all. Maybe. I feel like he might be a bit more serious in this one, Butch, though, I feel like. Who knows, though? Ant-Man is generally a comedy, so I do not know. They're definitely not giving us that impression in the trailers, though. Often says, Renz, get back to drawing more. Do as you're told. Go to your room, Renz. Love this stream. Oh, thanks for joining, brother. I appreciate it. I hope to see you here again in future ones. I thank you all for tuning in, taking part in the chat. And if you've been watching and you haven't taken part of the chat, that's cool too. But feel free to next time if you have points because... I like to hear from everybody. This is just a fun thing to hang out and talk about the stuff we love. And I've had a great time today, and I've really enjoyed going back and watching these films. So if you're watching Last of Us, join us here next week for that. To give you a quick rundown of what's going on my channel, I'll be releasing a Loki, Hot Toys Loki posing video from the Avengers Age of Ultron, the new Loki. I've finished filming everything. It's going to be 10 different poses. Display, I'm doing a bit more basic poses if you just like to do safe poses for the shelf. I do a little bit more creative poses, some team up poses, and a little bit more complicated ones for people who like to play around and do photography with their figures, which I'll explain in the video. I'll be recording the vocals and everything for that this week, and I hope to drop the video by my Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. It's going to be about 25 to 26 minutes long, so it's a bit of a long one, maybe even longer by the time I finish. And then next, we'll be doing a live unboxing of, so I've teamed up with Pop Collectibles, and we're going to be doing a live unboxing of the Spider-Man Deluxe from No Way Home integrated suit. So I'm going to be doing a live unboxing with that. And doing a pose with the base after I get it out of the box to just show everybody how you can put it together. So stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, join, all that type of stuff. I have a membership on the channel now where you get access to a closed Facebook group. You get your name on the end credits of my videos. And we do a live hangout and pose and chill, it's called. We hang out once a month, last Saturday of every month. And we pose up and just chat and just have fun and talk about the things we love in the community, obviously. So if you're into that stuff, check it out. It supports the channel, supports me. I appreciate it all. Helps me bring more content, buy more figures, pose more figures, all that type of stuff. But we've got lots more coming. I just got Chrome Mando in. There will be some Chrome Mando stuff coming because I think that might possibly be figure of the year for me. Chrome Mando looks phenomenal. I opened it up. I had a look. Pedro Pascal head sculpt is on point. The Chrome looks phenomenal. I'm looking forward to doing another Mando video eventually. But we have a lot of stuff coming. We got War Machine. I've got the Endgame Iron Patriot coming. Miles Morales and Gwen. I'll be doing a Spider-Verse posing series soon. That's going to be a big one. I'm going to be trying some crazy shit with that one. So lots coming to the channel, guys. Thank you all for being here. I see you all in the chat. Love all you guys. Till next week when we're back for The Last of Us. I've got to do one more of these, right, before we finish. I just had to do it. Thanks for being here, guys. Hashtag Justice for Waleed. Have a safe week. Enjoy.